So the Chiefs are almost mathematically eliminated, and the Packers are back in first place. I think someone's going to have something to say today. We're heading into Week 15 in the NFL. These are our picks. Let's get right into it. Welcome back, everybody, to Mike and the Feather. Thank you for joining us. Last week, let's just get right to it. We were 6-8 overall. Again, there's a controversial issue that occurred in one of the games a lot of people are talking about that did affect our pick. We'll talk about it when it's necessary. 2-2 overall in the bank pick. So a couple of weeks, kind of right there in the middle, but still, 6-8. It's hard to get 14 to 16 games right a week, especially with some of the crazy things going on. We thank you guys for tuning in as always, and we're on a push to make 3,600 subscribers. Sounds arbitrary, but that's doubling where we started from by the Super Bowl. So we'd appreciate if you guys would like and subscribe. It's free, and we have one video a week right now, so it won't really bother you too much. Beyond that, I turned 50 this weekend. I'm now plus 50. I'm hoping the odds of me going at least another like plus 35 are pretty good. I got to start taking care of myself. But how you doing?
I'm doing good. Feeling good. Football season's going great.
I started off my 50s winning a parlay.
You hit your parlay.
And won some fantasy points trophies this week. And
yep, the points lead. And yeah, it's been good. Football season's looking.
Let's get these people some winners and some money this week. Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's jump right into
absolutely.
it. Full slate of games. Nobody's on bye. It's done. It's time to put up or shut up. Starting with Thursday Night Football, the Atlanta Falcons take on the road to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just had a really ridiculous loss, I would say, to the Saints, who saw that one coming. We didn't. Tampa Bay Bucks, though, are -4 at home. One of the lowest spreads of the week.
Yeah. I mean, what happened to the Buccaneers at home last week against a Saints team that has no reason to be winning football games? I understand everyone plays hard, but even the Saints, they're screwing up their draft situation, but they somehow came in and beat Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay's getting healthier. Okay, Chris Godwin's kind of getting some games in under his belt. Bucky Irvin still looks great. Emeka Mbuka's, took a step back a little bit the last couple weeks, but he's still doing what he does. Baker Mayfield, who everyone was talking about being possible MVP candidate, he's obviously took the step back quite a bit. But this Buccaneers team is still in the lead for the division, battling with the Carolina Panthers. You figure, obviously, Atlanta's out of the mix. They're done. Stick a fork in them as far as playoff hopes or anything like that.
Also, maybe as Kirk Cousins is a starting quarterback anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins, they still have Bijan Robinson. They have talent. Drake London's been out the last couple weeks now. Will he play this week? It's hard to say. It's an ugly game. I mean, 4 points seems like a sure thing, and I like Tampa Bay a lot in this one. And I don't have any faith. We went against Atlanta last week, and Seattle, in the Battle of the Birds, crushed them. This game should be much of the same. I don't see Atlanta improving in any way, shape, or form in this game. I think Tampa is playing for everything. Yep. Atlanta's playing for nothing. And when it's all said and done on a short week, I don't think, that's going to probably prevent Drake London from playing. Keep an eye on that. But regardless, either way, Tampa Bay at home, if they want to keep ahead of the division, they got to get the win. That's going to be the difference. Take the Tampa Buccaneers to the bank on a Thursday night extravaganza. They are going to get this done. They're going to cover the 4. I don't know what last week was. It was something out of The Shining. But Tampa Bay this week gets it done. Boom.
All right, let's kick off Sunday morning of Week 15 with the Arizona Cardinals at the Houston Texans. The Texans just recently pretty much finished basting and roasting the Chiefs season. They put them on life support, for lack of a better word, because they're struggling. But Houston Texans against the lowly Cardinals and Jacoby Brissett, -9.5.
Jacoby Brissett has been a huge bright light for this team. I mean, basically, he's proven the deficits Kyler Murray really has. Okay, a lot of people are saying, okay, Kyler Murray's been injured, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But guys like Trey McBride, tight end, actually can catch touchdowns. Magically, Marvin Harrison Jr., who, people are wondering if it was his issue before, but now it's proven that really he didn't have a quarterback throwing to him. This Cardinal team, Brissett gives him a chance, but in the end, this team just doesn't have it this year. They're getting back some of hopefully their running back play. But overall, on the road in a situation against a Texans team, which the defense is a storyline, okay? Their offense is a little bit vanilla. Nico Collins coming up big. He had a huge game in Week 14. C.J. Stroud, who's been banged up all year long. Whichever quarterback plays, they seem to still be able to get the wins. They're on a nice little run. And after beating the Chiefs, in Kansas City, you have to take them serious because this defense is a serious contender for the best defense in the NFL easily. So as far as it goes, I mean, you got 9.5 points. It's a wild thing. The Houston Texans, who were once I think 2-5, are now 9.5 point favorites against a team. That tells you that their defense is for real. They're gonna, it's an interesting situation with the points though. I think Jacoby Brissett can keep this one a little bit closer. I think it's going to be a backdoor cover situation. Take the Arizona Cardinals plus 9.5 to stay within the point spread. There's not going to be an upset here. Arizona's not going to win the game. Make no mistake, the Texans will, but they're going to, stay within the 9.5. Boom.
And then we got a few things to talk about in this one, Bud, but let's keep it mostly into the actual pick. But the Las Vegas Raiders, at the center of a little bit of controversy right now, are on the road at the Philadelphia Eagles, who themselves are controversy, losing, is it 4 in a row now? 3 in a row?
At least.
Let's put it this way. They've actually opened the door back up for the Cowboys to maybe sneak in. So Cowboy fans can, maybe this is that year. But the Eagles are at home against the Raiders. Can't deny that fact. And that is reflected in the spread of -11 in favor of the Eagles right now. Might be going up, too.
The Eagles lose, and they come the very next week, and they're a double-digit favorite.
So how bad are the Raiders?
They got to be that bad.
So basically, we're going to figure the Raiders, the Eagles can cover like 8 here, not 11, right, with the Raiders?
We'll see if Pete Carroll kicks a field goal to knock it down. I mean... Okay, whoa. All right, so okay, we're going to touch on this situation last week briefly. Bottom line is, anyone that tries to convince me otherwise that this had nothing to do with point shaving is crazy, okay? I'm going to call it out like I see it. There was no logical reason to kick the field goal. First of all, there's no logical reason when a game's a 10-point game and there's 4 seconds left for the refs to call delay a game. Because guess what? Delaying the game had nothing. It was a very minor. He was on him for a little bit longer. I've seen way more egregious delay a game situations that weren't called. He was just nonchalant getting up. It gave the refs an excuse to basically stop the clock. And then Pete Carroll, with 4 seconds left, kicks a field goal. You can't say it's because he thought he had a chance to get the ball and do an onside kick and all that, because that was never going to happen. There's no way mathematically on earth that with 4 seconds left, you can kick a field goal and it's not going to go to 0 before that field goal goes through the post.
I'll do a counterpoint, then we'll go on. I know this is an awful example, but I liken it to be like in a burning building 100 stories up where the elevator, you can't get out, and all you can do is jump out the window. There is no good option, but you take the one that has the 0.000000 double repeating, one chance of something happening. But I understand, given all the stuff with Chauncey Billups and the poker stuff and the UFC, there's been point shaving, there's been things happening. It's like the fourth or fifth time in the history of football where somebody's kicked a field goal with less than 10 seconds left when you're down by 2 scores. And I don't know if any of those ones make sense.
No.
But
no, it doesn't make sense. But I mean, it doesn't pay.
The kicker needed the practice.
It doesn't pay to touch on it anymore because he's never going to be able to prove anything.
How about the Eagles, who are touching on falling out of favor in the division?
The Eagles, combination of things. I mean, coaching.
Shucks, the Eagles are losing.
Coaching mistakes, offensive line play. The one bright spot was Saquon Barkley ran for a run over 10 yards.
He's back.
In fact, good old Saquon Barkley ran me over and cost me in our fantasy football league. And Mike,
sorry about that.
Who's the guy that had Barkley that knocks me
fan
out of the playoffs? The Giants fan who has Barkley and gets a 50-yard run for a touchdown with bonus points. So, yeah, this Eagles team, that was a one shining bright spot. But the thing is A.J. Brown, who's actually had some good games, but magically, the more they have fed A.J. Brown the ball, they lose every one of those games. So it's pretty wild. Like, maybe they need to focus on running the ball more, or I don't know, like Jalen Hurts, I know he's a very calm, cool, collected guy, but maybe he needs to show a little more emotion. I mean, the man had interception after interception. It was the second time in history a player had 2 turnovers in the same play because he not only he threw an interception, but then he got the ball recovered and fumbled it and lost the ball. This Eagles team is a mess. They're at home. But one thing, if you want to cure your problems, play the Raiders, okay? Because that is the true dumpster fire of football. This Eagles team, minus 11, they're going to get it done, okay? The Eagles are going to cover the spread. They're at home. I'm sure Nick Sirianni is going to do what he can do to run the score up because he's not happy. This team's not happy. And I think that they're going to run wild at home. And if they don't, the Eagles fans are going to boo them out of the stadium. Take the Eagles, minus 11.
And then I'm looking what's next. Oh, we got the New York Jets on the road at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow, these spreads are crazy. Well, Jacksonville Jaguars, minus 12 at home. First place, Jacksonville Jaguars?
First place, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Congrats, Trevor Lawrence. The Magic Locks have come through.
It helps considering, last week when Daniel Jones goes out, I mean, you're playing a rookie quarterback. But this Jacksonville team, here's what's been really huge. Brian Thomas Jr. actually showed up this week. He's been banged up. Earlier in the year, he was playing poorly, wasn't getting a lot done. He had a nice game. Jacoby Myers is a great 1-2 punch. Travis Etienne looked explosive as can be, had a great game, 2 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence played pretty much almost mistake-free. On the other side of the ball, the Jets are the Jets, okay? They're on their third-string quarterback. I don't know which one's going to play this week. I don't know if it makes a difference. Garrett Wilson could be due to come off of IR. Whether he's going to play again this year, I do not know. But this Jets team has nothing going for themselves. Their coach still tries to have them play hard. The coach has the most energy on the sidelines, okay? He's a rookie coach, came from Detroit. Man comes from winning, 14 games or whatever to now this. It's a rough go for him, but he's not on the chopping block by any means. He's going to have multiple years to get a shot and improving his Jets team. But pretty much no one has been able to do it in the last 40 years, so I don't think anything's going to change in that aspect. In this case, seeing the Jacksonville Jaguars a 12-point favorite is not what most people had on their bingo card to start this year. And it's a big spread, especially in the NFL that is a key for backdoor covers and everything else. But the Jags at home are going to keep the train on the tracks. Take the Jacksonville Jaguars minus 12.
You might have something to say on this next one, too. Cleveland Browns are flying down to Chicago, where the Bears, who have gone from first place to the wild card, I believe, is how it fell.
1 seed to 7 seed.
1 seed to 7 seed. These flips in that conference are just insane. But the Bears looking to rebound against the Cleveland Browns and Myles Garrett. Chicago Bears minus 7.5.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give Shedeur Sanders his credit, okay?
Yep.
They lost the game, so that's the most important part. They did lose the game. But he had a pretty good statistical game. He did some good things. He also made some mistakes and made some errors. He's got to step away from this whole watch thing. I mean, the Tennessee Titans defense, when they picked them or whatever, they did the whole watch thing like Shedeur does. And then he did it again when he actually made a play. Just play football. I mean, it's cool, whatever. Shedeur, he's just like...
He's great in his brand. That's
what
it is.
It's his brand.
Yep.
So this Browns team, though, the key is their defense is still pretty solid. Jerry Jeudy actually stepped up and had a game last week. This Browns team, I mean, Myles Garrett's going to get the record. He's going to get the sack record. It doesn't matter which week it's going to be in the next 4. Let's talk about Chicago Bears. For all you fans out there that were giving me the hardest time all week long, saying I'm picking the homer pick and 6.5 and this and that, how about them Green Bay Packers? Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Now, moving on to the Bears and the heartache that every Bear fan has felt now since 1985. All I want to know is it possible that DJ Moore is sleeping with Caleb Williams' mom?
Are you lost?
Because DJ Moore is a super talented receiver that was a top-notch receiver coming out of Carolina, and he's regressed year after year after year, especially with Caleb Williams' arrival. He had 1 catch for -4 yards. He was so wide open on that last play of the game. Instead of Caleb Williams throwing for an interception, DJ Moore, you could have gave me the football. If I was in DJ Moore's spot
And
and got
spotted
that,
you 20 yards.
if I would have got that wide open, I would have caught it, and I could have walked in. I could have done a bear crawl into the end zone. He was that wide open, but yet Caleb Williams is looking right at him in his line of sight. So that's something that needs to change. DJ Moore needs to be utilized. When Roma Dunze, who's the stud wideout in his second year, is injured, you have to go to your best receiver on the field as DJ Moore. That was mistake number one against Chicago. They can't make this mistake this week. Roma Dunze, whether he plays or not, we'll find out. He's still questionable. But they need to get that passing game going and get it to your best position receivers. Okay, they're utilizing the tight end well. They're running well. They got shut down a little bit against Green Bay. But this Chicago team, if they want to continue their run up and make the playoffs, they have to put it together on offense because their defense is not very good. Okay, they've managed it, and they looked all right for some reason against the Eagles, which now we're coming to find out maybe the Eagles are having bigger problems. 7.5 points for the Bears at home. That hook is annoying, but Chicago at home against a Cleveland team that just is going to be outmatched in this situation. Take the Chicago Bears minus 7.5.
That's nice of you. You took the Bears.
Hey, I'm not a biased picker. I'm going to go with the team that I believe is going to win and cover.
Gotcha. Let's get right into matchup of the week. This is the big one. This is a lot for every team on this. It's Drake May's possible run at an MVP. Going here. Oh, you know who's not in the running for MVP anymore? It's so weird. He was there just a few weeks ago. At number, wasn't it Pat Stevenson? Pat.
Is it Pat?
Somebody.
Is it Pam? Pat?
It might have been. He's not even in the running now. But in the running are two quarterbacks right here. Josh Allen, last year's MVP. Drake May, the potential runner for the Patriots for MVP. This is it for all the marbles. Bills on the road this time with the Patriots, who beat the Bills back in like week 3 or 4. Bills -1. Kind of a pick 'em.
Patriots not getting any respect. They got the Bills by a couple games. They're in New England, and yet Vegas and sports bettors alike are giving the edge to Josh Allen and saying, hey, Josh Allen and the Bills are still your daddy, basically, is what they're trying to say. The Bills lost game 1 in this rubber match, okay? This is a huge one, because if they want any chance to win in the division, any chance of a top seed, it's got to be getting this W here, and it's going to take New England to fall pretty bad after that, which is going to be pretty hard to do. This game is going to be interesting. You got James. The key here is obviously Josh Allen. It's a no-brainer. I don't even have to say it. Josh Allen is going to be the X factor. He needs to have a big game, turnover-free, on the road. James Cook, who's been a huge 1-2 punch for this team in this offense, they need to feed him the rock and make him a key part of this game. We've yet to see receivers step up as much as they need to, whether it's Shakir or Keon Coleman, but someone's got to step up at the wide receiver and make some big plays. The defense has looked better, but they had some leaks and cracks against Cincinnati. Now, Cincinnati is a great offense. New England, on the other side of the ball, they're running the game. They have a nice 1-2 punch. Ramondre Stevenson, Trevion Henderson, looking great. Stephon Diggs, going up against his old team. He's had a good year this year. And this defense for New England has been outstanding. Mike Vrabel has them playing hard. This is interesting. But bottom line, the Bills are still the Patriots' daddy, and we're going to find that out this week. Take the Buffalo Bills -1 to get it done. Boom.
Speaking of their opponent from this past week, the Bengals, and why I didn't cash out the 401k and just bet the over between the Bengals and the Bills. You knew that was going to be skyrocketing, and I just didn't even touch it.
Right.
But the Bengals are at home against the Ravens. The Ravens come in, though, as the 2.5-point favorite.
This Bengals defense is a dumpster fire. I mean, Joe Burrow literally, is leading off where Joe Flacco did. Joe Flacco had some big games. Didn't matter because the defense was terrible. In this case, Joe Burrow, granted, he had a couple rough interceptions against the Bills, very inopportune times. But that defense is so bad for Cincinnati. They need to really address that in the offseason because they, like I said, dumpster fire. T. Higgins is back in concussion protocol, 2 out of 3 weeks now. The likelihood being in concussion protocol again that he's going to be able to play this week is probably pretty slim because now all of a sudden nearly back-to-back concussions, essentially.
Yeah.
That's going to be, they're going to err on the side of caution, I think, because that gets to be kind of really dangerous. So plan on T. Higgins probably not being there, which is going to be pretty rough on Joe Burrow. But they did manage to beat Baltimore with no T. Higgins a couple weeks earlier. Cincinnati's looking good, but they're playing for nothing now officially. Okay, Cincinnati had a shot, if they would have beat Buffalo. They were on, very thin margins, but now they're basically playing to just kind of prepare for next year and to play spoiler. Baltimore, who everyone thought was going to be for sure the team, and Pittsburgh was on the down skid, the writing was on the wall. Pittsburgh comes into Baltimore, and they beat. And Aaron Rodgers, a guy who hasn't been able to throw down the field to anybody all year long, nothing but short dink dog passes, all of a sudden, welcome to the NFL, DK Metcalf. He has a huge game out of nowhere. He's probably in most people's fantasy benches. He was on mine because I was pretty deep at wide receiver, and it ended up costing me.
Against who?
Yeah, okay. Enough of that.
Happy 50th.
You're running good. So here we go. So now this game, huge game for Baltimore. Baltimore cannot lose this game. The question is, will they? They're in Cincinnati. Zay Flowers had a step-up big game. The key is Lamar Jackson needs to, really get Zay Flowers the ball because he's a huge part of this offense. Mark Andrews needs to be catching the ball, making plays. And Lamar Jackson has been spotty at best the last few starts. Due to the fact that they literally need this win, this is a must-win situation. Cincinnati's not playing for as much. They're short T. Higgins. I think Baltimore does enough to get the win here. Take the Baltimore Ravens to cover on the road in a much-needed game to keep pace with this Pittsburgh team that literally now is – are they squeaking ahead? I mean, this division is –
that 9-8 record's coming.
It's a coin toss, but we're gonna go with Baltimore just because it's super important for them to win, and I think that Derrick Henry, and they're gonna rise to the occasion with Derrick Henry in this offense to get it done. Even though their defense looked a little spotty last week, they're gonna do enough to get it done.
Getting towards the middle of all the games, and here's one that is a big matchup, but not for the reasons probably we would have thought even 5-6 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Chargers on the road at Kansas City Chiefs. In your division game, Chiefs cannot lose this. Chargers are looking good. Last night, though, against the Eagles, both teams look like crap. Chargers did enough to get the win.
Yep.
Is that telltale of what's going to happen here against the Chiefs team that is literally bleeding out, but who is -4.5 at home?
I mean, Justin Herbert has a broken hand. He's literally a week removed from his surgery he had. And he played a gritty performance.
True, in that context, yeah, for sure.
He had a gritty performance to get it done. Welcome back, Omarion Hampton. He looked really good, and I'm sure most fantasy owners are happy to have him back. So he has a nice they have a 1-2 punch with Vidal and Hampton, which is going to be a huge benefit going forward. You're right. As far as passing the ball, it was rough. I mean, they have some good receivers in that team and a decent tight end, and yet they couldn't get much going. That being said, the key was the Chargers' defense. The Chargers' defense looked great last night, and Jim Harbaugh gave them the game ball, and it was well deserved.
Yep.
Now it's in a game. This is huge. They beat Kansas City to open up the year. They could literally stick the dagger in Casey's back with a win this week, and Casey pretty much will be eliminated from any hope if that happens. Now, Kansas City on the other side of the ball, Patrick Mahomes had one of his worst games of his career, definitely his lowest completion percentage game of his career, 0 touchdowns. He was throwing some bad balls, but a lot of these receivers are dropping balls. Kelsey's dropping balls, that turn into interceptions. Rashee Rice was dropping balls. So they weren't helping him out by any means. Their defense looked a little bit spotty. There was some officiating mistakes. I'll give you that. There was some calls both ways that were beneficial to the Chiefs, but also against them. So these officials got to start getting it right. I mean, at some point you would think they will, but that didn't matter either way. The Chiefs just were not in that game. That game was a rough game for them. Back up against the wall. 4.5-point favorites. They lose, and it's over. Literally done. The last 3 games are meaningless. It's just that simple. Is it going to happen? No. We're going to take Kansas City Chiefs -4.5. They are going to get it done because just they have to. They absolutely have to. This is a gut check for this franchise, their head coach. A failure here and a loss here, and they are going home packing, and it's going to be ugly. So that's not going to happen. Chiefs -4. Boom.
It's funny you have one game where they don't kick a field goal with 8 minutes left, and another game they kick a field goal with 4 seconds left, down by 2 scores. It's a story of field goals this past week in the NFL.
Yep.
Our last morning game, we can go quick on this one because let's hope the Giants lose, because if we can lose out, we can take that first-round pick from the Raiders. But that means the Giants will go 3-4 in their last 4 games somehow. But the Commanders, right back to the injury pool for Jaden Daniels in the second quarter, gets hurt again on that elbow. Commanders are on the road at the New York Giants. New York Giants get the nod at -2. Yeah.
Sorry, Commanders and Giants fans, this pick doesn't need much time.
Yeah.
Both teams are just done. Irrelevant game. It's like watching.
Who's going to do enough to squeak by, though,
It's watching preseason football pretty much. It doesn't really matter. Giants at home are going to get the win. Take the Giants -2.
No.
They're going to get the win. Sorry,
good.
Mike, but Jackson Dart is a competitor. Giants get the win. We don't need to have any analysis.
Fair enough.
Done.
All right, so we got 5 afternoon games this week, all starting at 1:25. And I like that. That's an extra 20 minutes to get my afternoon chase my money back parlays together on those games. Don't knock it, it works sometimes. Let's go with the Indianapolis Colts against the Seattle Seahawks. Here's 2 different teams on 2 different trajectories. Daniel Jones, I'm not saying I expected this, but Indy fans are getting the full gamut of what we had about 3 years ago with the 7 wins and then suddenly what's happening, and then Daniel Jones, boop, injured. Granted, he's playing injured already. That was questionable too. They are against the Seattle Seahawks, and this is actually right now the highest spread. Seattle Seahawks -13.5 at home. But the X factor that the Colts have now signed Phillip Rivers, 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, ex-Charger great, to their practice squad. That would be a turnaround.
The man has 17 kids, so
he needs the money.
A few game checks would help and go a long ways towards the Phillip Rivers generational wealth situation. I mean, okay, here we go. You got to feel bad for the Colts. This is brutal. Daniel Jones, the poor guy had playing with a mild fracture in one leg, and then he blows his Achilles in another.
He might be back before the start of next season if he's not careful.
I mean, this is just a bummer. It's a bummer because Jonathan Taylor is having an excellent year, and now he doesn't have a quarterback to throw the ball, and they're going to feast on him, unfortunately. Hopefully he can overcome it. Who's going to be the quarterback of the Colts this week or the weeks going forward? Your guess is as good as mine right now. We'll find out sooner than later. The key factor for the Seattle Seahawks is 3 words: Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. This guy's having the best season ever in his career, and he's probably the best, as far as statistically and how he's playing, is the best receiver right now in the NFL. Sam Darnold continues to depress Minnesota Viking fans week after week as he gets it done and gets the W and makes them regret ever letting him walk out the door. This situation where this Seattle team at home, huge favorites in a game that you would never think would be a spread like this 4 or 5 weeks ago. It would be unthinkable. Now you're sitting here, 13.5 points at home. It's a lot of points.
It's scary.
It's super scary, but you know what? Seattle's defense is a really good run defense, and that neutralizes Jonathan Taylor. And I just don't know if there's a lot of faith in this rookie quarterback that came in. So that being said, we're going to keep it simple. I hate these huge spreads. Don't bet this game probably. Just avoid it. Just sit back and watch it. But because of backdoor covers and stuff like that, that could be the murky thing that messes us up. But outside of that, take Seattle -13.5 to get the cover. It should happen, short of a backdoor cover in the other direction.
Do I dare say it? Potential Super Bowl preview. Potential. You got the South versus the North, 2 first-place teams, 2 different conferences, obviously. Green Bay Packers fly across the country to Denver, take on the Broncos, -2.5 Packers. How do you feel about the -2.5?
Well, I mean, a lot of people are saying Denver's getting disrespected. But the thing is as I've had conversations with my friend Sam, bottom line is Bo Nix has been spotty. Bo Nix did not look particularly great against the Raiders, and the teams he's looked good against are some of the worst defenses in the NFL. So that's the problem, because this is not an indictment on our defense. Denver has an outstanding defense. I don't think Sean Payton's exactly calling the best offensive game plan for this team, and that could be part of the problem as well on the offense side of the ball. They're at home. So, I mean, I've been in Denver at Green Bay Packer Denver games myself in the stands, and Green Bay has lost those games when I was there.
Possibly the Mile High effect too.
I mean, you're on the road. I mean, it's one thing when you play in the elements, at home at Lambeau, but when you're playing on the road, it's a little bit different story. Jordan Love is playing some of the best football. It is the best football of his career, and he's looking dominant in just about every statistical category from a quarterback standpoint. And this time of year is when he shines. Matt LaFleur in the month of December is almost unbeatable. This team is playing great. Their defense is outstanding. They got almost, pretty much all the receivers back healthy again. What's going to happen? 2.5 points. Favored. I'm going to catch heat no matter what I say here. That's just the fact. But if you take the body of work and you match it up, who has the edge? Jordan Love has the edge against Bo Nix. The defenses are awash. And I believe that Green Bay has better skill position players currently right now. I think Matt LaFleur is a better coach at this very moment than what Sean Payton's doing. So 2 + 2 is 4. It's just that simple. And based on that, we're going to take the Green Bay Packers -2.5 to the bank. Yes, the Green Bay Packers we're going to the well one more time, back-to-back weeks. Go Pack, go. They're going to get it done. Boom.
We got another 2.5 point spread for the next afternoon game. And who knows? This is different reasons. Carolina Panthers, who are good. Is that a statement or a question? I don't know.
Good.
New Orleans Saints, who just beat the Buccaneers, shocked the Buccaneers. Panthers -2.5.
Another gross game. And I'm definitely not willing to say that the Carolina Panthers are a good team. They are an unexpectedly much improved team that has been playing maybe above their head, or maybe they just are fairly solid. We'll find out in the next 4 weeks what the Carolina Panthers are, okay? The proof will be in the pudding. But for these purposes, we're going to keep this simple, okay? I'm not taking the Saints in this spot. The Saints don't deserve to be taken. Their win last week was a fluke. I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers in this case, coming off a bye. They're going to get it done, get the W, take them -2. It's just that simple.
All right, next game on the afternoon, fourth matchup. We have the Detroit Lions on the road against the first place LA Rams. Rams -5.5 at home at SoFi. Does Dan Campbell take points this week? Is he learning?
I mean,
points are going to be a premium against the Rams.
Yeah, but I mean, they have Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is a complete stud. Okay, he had a monster week again last week. Catching the ball, rushing the ball, he does it all. He is the X factor and the constant that they need to lean on. Amon-Ra St. Brown, gritty. The man is all beat up. Most players would never even consider playing with his ankle injury. He came out there, looked great, and was a huge factor and contributor in last week's victory against Dallas. Puka Nacua. Talk about receivers. We talk about Jackson Smith and Jigba. Puka Nacua is a absolute monster himself. And the man still can't get as many touchdowns as Davante Adams. Davante Adams is on a touchdown tour right now. So you got Puka, who's catching again the yards, not as many touchdowns. You get Davante Adams, it's a touchdown magnet. Kyron Williams is looking good. Matt Stafford, old bone Stafford.
Best season in 17 years.
Yeah, playing against his team, his former team. That, by the way, it took him leaving Detroit to go win a Super Bowl. And now he's at home to play his former team. Huge matchup. huge implication because you're talking about the 1 seed and you're talking about a Detroit team now that's looking up in the division in the 3 hole, which is very rare for them. That's very unusual. So this is a must-win for Detroit, and obviously it's a must-win to keep the number 1 seed for the Rams. So what's going to give? I'm going to go with the home team in this spot. I'm going to take the Rams with too much offense. I still don't trust the defense of this Lions team, and that's going to be the difference in this case. Take the Rams -5.5.
Last afternoon game, Tennessee Titans against the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers had a good week. They got to rest. They moved up in the standings, and no one got hurt. So congratulations. They finally figured out the formula.
Right.
But they are the second biggest spread as of Tuesday afternoon. They are 12.5-point favorites at home against the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans got a nice bump from Tony Pollard. He had a monster game this last week. The 49ers got some much-needed rest to, shore up and get their offense completely healthy. Christian McCaffrey obviously needs a rest because he's been, a Swiss Army knife doing everything for this offense right now. They're in San Francisco. San Francisco's going to get the W. So I'll lay that out there right now. They're going to get the W. Will they cover to 12.5? I think they won't. I'm going to go with, it's very simple. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans plus 12.5. I'm looking at the backdoor cover situation to, basically get Tennessee the backdoor cover. They're going to win. Like I said, the Niners are going to win, but we're going to keep it simple. Too many points in this situation. Take the Titans.
And then Sunday Night Football at 5:20, the Minnesota Vikings. I can't say it. They don't know what's going on. They get shut out, then they shut out. But J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings are on the road to Dallas Cowboys, who now once again have something to play for. -6 for the Dallas Cowboys at home.
J.J. McCarthy is playing for his starting career. I mean, will he be – the question is, how much longer will he be a Viking? And him playing –
You really think after one full season?
No, they're not going to – but he's trying to play for a contract too, right? Because, I mean, it's a case where, he's got – they got some time yet. It's early, but I don't see the Minnesota Vikings just letting it lie and going forward with him for sure next year and not having.
They got to bring in somebody to challenge.
There's going to bring somebody in, I believe, but how he plays the next few games will kind of determine where they feel comfort-wise. It was a step in the right direction last week. Now, it might have been against a really bad team, so I mean, let's just hold our thoughts on what happened. We're going to find out this week, though, because Dallas, whose defense is, it had been really good for about 3 weeks or so, and then it kind of fell apart against a really good offense, so obviously in Detroit, right? So it's in Big D. This is a huge game for J.J. McCarthy's career because if he has a bad game and gets blown up and shredded again, I think it's going to be a red alert, and I think that his future is, which right now most people don't have much faith in, is going to be definitely in doubt whether he's going to be going forward the guy. The Cowboys now, that loss killed them against Detroit, but now, Philly's like, hey, you guys lost? All right, we'll lose too. So now it's the same situation. You got it's like a 2-game lead for Philly, 4 games to go. They split their matchups on the year. So Dallas has to keep winning. I don't think they're going to catch Philly, but when it's all said and done, they're going to play hard. They're at home. Dak Prescott's having a monster season. We're going to go with the Dallas Cowboys to get it done and cover the spread at home. It's just that simple. J.J. McCarthy, I'm not putting anything behind him and backing him whatsoever.
You're not doing a lot of booms this week, I noticed.
Hey, I'm just keeping it simple,
Keeping it simple. All right.
Simple.
Let's wrap up week 15. Wow, that's 4 weeks left. Monday Night Football. Well, I guess Dolphins are playing for something. They're playing for hope. On the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are playing for their 9-8 record, and to get in that playoff spot. Pittsburgh Steelers at home, they get the -3 at home. The only team getting a normal just -3 at home this week.
The Miami Dolphins 6-7, Kansas City Chiefs 6-7.
Wait, how much are they?
6-7. So there's still hope for the Dolphins, right? I mean, they have as much hope as, although granted theirs is only, they have as much hope as basically the Chiefs do, right? So Can they run the tables and have a playoff spot? It's a long shot, obviously, right? And considering the Dolphins don't play well in cold weather, they got the win last week, a huge win. Now, Devon Achane did get hurt last week. They say he could have maybe came back in if need be, and they didn't obviously need him at all. So kind of keep an eye on that. DK Metcalf, like I said, he was a monster. Big game last week. Aaron Rodgers threw the ball downfield. He did his discount double check belt touchdown run, and he's back, baby, right? We'll see. No one expected Pittsburgh to win last week against Baltimore. Like, literally, pretty much nobody. As did us, because we picked Baltimore to the bank. So here we go. In Pittsburgh against Miami, Aaron Rodgers is going to find a way. We're going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers to cover this spread and get it done, -3 at home. The cold weather is going to be a little bit too much for this Miami team. They had a good run winning a couple games in a row, and they're playing hard for their coach, but they're falling short this time. Take the Pittsburgh Steelers to continue winning. Boom.
And that's Week 15 and our opinions here on Tuesday afternoon for all 16 games. A lot of crazy spreads. It's actually, we always say football's been crazy a lot, but this is actually kind of a cool way this season's shaking out. A lot of stories going on, and like one week you're in first, next week you're looking in. The flip-flops are crazy. The storylines are crazy. What's not crazy is the Giants still suck. So is one thing has been normal this season. There is something to grasp onto.
The AFC has been super mediocre. The AFC has been super mediocre. Jesus Christ.
Hold on. Mediocre, sir.
Yes, I know. Do not put that in there either.
I'm saving that clip, though.
The AFC has been super mediocre this year, and the NFC, we have a better outlook on what's going on there. The AFC, your guess is as good as mine right now. Who's going to step forward to be the Super Bowl contender and in the Super Bowl for this team? Buckle up. The next 4 weeks are going to be a lot of fun.
All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll be back here next Tuesday for Week 16 and all the stories that come along with it. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
All right. Until then, take it to the bank. Boom.